Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Today we shall discuss basic operations on complex numbers. We shall try to understand these operations in details. So the first operation on complex number is addition. Okay, let I consider two complex numbers z1 and z2. You know we are studying complex numbers in details. So z1 is the first complex number, z2 is another complex number, and here we are using iota. It means it is a complex number. Here is also iota. It means it is a complex number. So a, b, c, d are real numbers. Okay, due to this iota it is called a complex number. Then how can we perform the sum? Very simply, z1 plus z2 equal to, this is first complex number, a plus b iota plus c plus d, this is second complex number. How can we perform the additions? The real part into real and imaginary part into imaginary part. Simply the real part, this is a real part of this complex number, this will add with this real part of second complex number. Similarly, the imaginary part of this complex number will add the imaginary part of second complex number. Okay, so simply a plus c plus b plus d into iota. This is the method to add to complex numbers. Okay, one thing is very important, to add real part of first complex number to the real part of second complex number, or similarly imaginary part of the first complex number to add the imaginary part of second complex number, right? So only in imaginary part we take common iota and add two numbers, real numbers, then we will get a sum. Similarly for multiplication, let z1 and z2 are two numbers and a, b, c, d belong to real numbers. So then their product will be like this: z1 z2 a plus iota b into c plus iota d. Okay, simply ac minus bt plus ad. This is formula. You can use this formula directly, right? Simply ac minus bt, the sign is minus, this is bt, then ad plus bc, right? And just take common iota. Okay, this is formula. You can also multiply by step like this: a into c plus iota d plus iota b into c plus iota t. You can do it. So next, subtraction. Let z1 a plus iota b, z2 c plus iota, there are two complex numbers belong to real numbers, then their subtraction will be performed like this: a minus c plus b minus t. Simply subtract real part from real and imaginary part from imaginary, like a minus c, then b minus d, simply, and with iota. This is similarly to the addition method, or just difference is the minus sign. Next, divisions. This is a complex, a little bit difficult. Let z1 is the first complex number, z2 is another complex numbers, and they are belonging to a, b, c, d belonging to real numbers. Then divisions can be performed like this: z first complex number divided by second complex number, z1 upon z2. This is first complex number, this is second complex number. How can we perform? Firstly, this is very important point here in the division process operation. First you have to remove the iota in denominator, right? This is your first choice. Then you have to solve next. How can we remove the complex number from denominator? This is a simple method. Simply denominator, this is c plus iota d, c plus iota d. Changing the sign of this, multiplying and divided. Okay, only multiply with changing the sign and divide of that numbers, right? This is called rationalization. This process is called rationalization. So what is this? This is c plus iota d. And what is this? This is c minus iota d. What is difference? Only difference of sign, plus minus. Okay, c minus it iota d. So next you have to multiply numerator with numerator and denominator with the denominator. So this is process. You can also use direct formula, or you can multiply step by step. This is AC plus, this is a multiplication AC plus BC, this one, then A minus D iota, then iota B, this, they are multiplying to each other. Similarly in denominator, this is a formula, only A plus B into A minus B, A square minus B square. Simply I am using that formula. This is formula. Then multiply AC plus BC iota minus AD. So iota square is minus 1. Only putting the value of iota square in here. This is minus 1 into minus, that is plus BT. Here this is AC plus BD. AC plus BD. I am only combining the complex numbers. Okay, BC minus AD iota divided by C square plus D square. So this is the you can use this formula directly. This is the formula for the divisions of two complex number, AC plus BT upon C square plus D square plus BC minus AD C square plus D square. Only difference is the minus sign, right? And with iota, this is single denominator and there are two terms. I can split it into two different fractions. So this divided by this plus this divided by this, denominator is same. Okay, now come to exercise 2.6. The first question is that identify the following statements as true or false. Simply, this is the bookwork and you can also solve it in your notebook. First part is square root minus 3 into square root minus 3 equal to 3. This is false. Why? I explain it. So you can write it minus, in previous lecture, minus iota, minus 1 square root is equal to iota. So simply I change minus into iota, here minus into iota. Okay, so they are multiplying to each other. So 3 into 3, they are under the square root, into iota, right? Iota is outside the square root, and they multiply to each other. Okay, this is combination of 3 into 3, so it means 3 square, and you can take out in from the square root. So this is only 3, this is iota into iota square, so minus 1. So iota square is minus 1. So 3 into minus 1, that is minus 3, but here it is 3, that's why it is a false. Okay, next question is that product of complex number and its conjugate is always a non-negative real number. This is true. How? Product of complex number and its conjugate. I take one complex number and then take its conjugate and then multiply both two numbers. Okay, example, I take first number 2 minus 3 iota. and taking its conjugate, it will become 2 plus 3 iota, then multiplying to each other. Simply 2 multiplied by this complete, and minus 3 again multiplied by this complete second complex number. Then by multiplying 2 2s are 4 plus 6 iota minus 6 minus 6 iota minus 9 iota square. Sorry students, 4 minus 9 iota square, that is 4 plus iota square, that is minus 1. 4 plus 9, that is 13. So it's correct. That is non-negative. This is non-negative, not positive. Sorry, not negative. No any sign with this. That is only sign positive. So that's why this is non-negative and it is a real number. That's why it is a true. Now for first questions, second, third, fourth, 5 and 6 are your homework. Question number 2. Quiz express each complex number in the standard form. Standard form, and this, right, you have to write the numbers after solving in the form of a plus b iota. So real and imaginary part must be separately, right? Now this is first part, 2 plus 3 iota plus simply they are adding to each other both complex numbers. So simply how can we add it? By real part with real part and imaginary part with the imaginary part. So 2 plus 7 plus 3 iota minus 2 iota. So 2 plus 7, that is 9, and 3 plus 3 iota plus minus 2 iota, that is 1 iota. So it is in the form of a plus b iota. This is real part, this is imaginary part. Similarly, next part 2. Firstly, we have to remove the iota cube, iota 16, iota 19, iota 25. So simply in last lecture I told you, just convert it into iota square. You know the value of iota square is minus 1. Just putting the value of iota square, you can easily remove the higher power of iota, right? So this is 2. So iota square is minus 1 plus 6. I just split iota cube into iota square into iota because I know only value the iota square. Then next, iota 16 iota square in iota square whole square means 88. That is multiplying with 2. 8 into 2, that is 16. Simply splitting iota 19 iota square into 9 dot iota. Okay, its power is iota square 9. 9 2s are 18 plus 1, that is 19. Okay, next 4 into iota square splitting into its iota square, that is 24, and this simply putting the values of iota square minus 2, then iota square is minus 1, then iota square is minus 1, then iota square is minus 1, then iota square is minus 1 into iota. This iota square is minus 1. So minus 2 minus 6 iota plus 3, this is minus, but its power is a even number. When the power is even number, it becomes a positive. So that's why it becomes positive. Similarly, this is odd power 9, so not change its sign. It's will remain minus. So minus multiplying with this minus, it will become positive. And similarly, this is even. It converts the minus sign into positive. Okay, next. So this is minus 2 and 6 minus 2 plus 3 okay, minus 6 iota. I combining the complex and real numbers, right? So this is real number and this is real number also, and this is imaginary part. Okay, so combining real and imaginary parts, I will get 1 plus 4 iota. This is also in the form of a plus. This is complex, this is real